Good afternoon, everyone, again, or good morning, good night, wherever you are. This is part 3 of my Let's Play Open Transport Tycoon. I should probably unpause it. There we go. For those of you who've watched the other parts, so far we've made a bus and we've made a train. That's all we've done. And what I said I'd do last video is I'd show you how to use signals to make trains a bit more efficient. I mean, in this particular train route, you probably wouldn't need to use signals unless you're planning on implementing a few more trains, which I'm not. Which I'm not. So we can leave this one as it is. Let's move on to... That looks like a good spot. Here we go. So what we'll do, we'll set up a passenger thingy line from Barbara to Dadchurch. I'm not going to rename them because I quite like those names actually. And I'll show you the kind of thing you can use signals for. So we wanted to accept passengers. I won't be too bothered about mail for now. So there we go. Dadchurch Woods and why not Barbara North. By the way, for those of you who don't know what I'm doing to make it all kind of invisible, just the X button. It makes everything invisible apart from roads and tracks and that sort of thing, which is very useful. Right, here we go. So what I'm going to do, to start with, I'm just going to make what are called loading loops, okay? So if I imagine I want my trains to come in anti-clockwise and move in this direction, it's always best to keep your trains moving in one way if you can. Two-way lines are good for one train on doing one thing, but can be an absolute nightmare if you're trying to do anything a bit more exciting. So I'm going anti-clockwise there. Let's go clockwise here. Oh, they're just called loading loops because, well, they are literally just loops of rail around, or rings more like, just around the station. You'll see why I'm implementing these in a minute. I'll just level out this terrain a bit more. So far I've got Dadchurch Woods and Barbara North just sitting there quite happily. Not connected, but, you know, that'll change soon enough. Before I do that, though, I'm going to attach a few signals. So, the first most basic kind of signal that we have to deal with is what are called block signals. Here we go. Block signal electric. What they do is they create what are called blocks of rail. Okay, a block of rail is just a piece of track that's separated by a signal on either side. That's all that is. So for example, if I built a signal here and I built a signal here, this little bit of rail here is a block. Okay, and so is this bit. Everything else, that's all a block as well. Even though it goes through a station, that's still a block. What this means is, if a train were to approach from here, it would read this signal, and using this signal, the lights on the signal, it would determine whether it'll move forward or not. So it'll go, let's say it pulls up here, and the light here is green. Then it will go, oh, fantastic, and it will carry on moving. If the light is green, it means there's no train in the block ahead. All right. If there is a train in this block, then this light will be red, and our train will have to wait there until the block is safe. Okay. It's a strange kind of concept, but it makes sense once you think about it. You can also make these one way, which is what we're going to do, by clicking on them again. One click sends it one way, one click sends it the other, another click restores it back to the original two-way business. Now we want ours to go here, we want ours to go anti-clockwise. I said clockwise before, didn't I? Oh, it doesn't matter, anti-clockwise. The direction in which a light faces is the direction upon which it lets trains enter. So these lights are facing up, which means they'll let trains in coming this way. Okay? They won't let trains go the other way, they just simply won't. If a train arrives at this side, it'll turn around. Now we want all of this to be one way. So I'm just going to add a few more signals. That should probably do it, to be honest. Yeah, and I'm going to do the same on this side. So one way signal that way, one way that way, You can click and drag as well to stick a few more in, which is quite cool. Right, so now what I've done is I've implemented my one-way signals. That means trains will only go around the way that I want them to. Actually, that's probably a really bad place for a signal. There we go. Cool. Now what we're going to do is connect them up, simply enough. Here we go. Now we're going to add another rail as well, because at the moment, although, actually, what am I doing? Oh yeah, although our stations are one way, our track in the middle is not. So this is why I'm adding a second one, and this is how we use our loading loops again. So right, I'll make these all one way as well. If I'm not explaining these very well, then do let me know, and I'll try and do it a bit easier, because there are a lot of written explanations on how to use signals. I didn't find many kind of people explaining it really, so that should be enough one-way signals, I'd say. Well, let's test it out. If we pop a train here, excuse me, my Mac makes funny noises. Now what should happen, if I tell our train to go to Barbara and then go to Dad Church, hopefully he should go this way, which he is doing at the moment, which is cool. Also, what you can do, if you look at some of the lights, it'll be easier to see when he gets down to here. Oh, he's going that way. Oh, have I missed out a signal? Look, he's going to have to turn around now, aren't you, though, you stupid train? See? Oh, what a goon. Have you sorted your life out yet? Oh, I see what I've done. Whoops. I made it one way, but I made it the wrong way. Oh, well, yep, come on. Very important not to put the wrong signals down. There we go. Round he goes. So here we go. It'll be easy to see down here. Once he enters this little area, this light will turn red. Yep, and then this line should turn red once it gets past it. This means any trains coming up this way will see a red light and not enter this block. And now this should go green because he's separated by another block. Can you see what's going on? Which means if I add another train, look, doing exactly the same thing. There you go, you wait till the signal I put by this depot. Excuse me, I'm enjoying a cup of tea because it's amazing. And here we go. This means that train number 2 is never going to end up bumping into train number 1. And in the world of Transport Tycoon, there are no gentle bumps. You could be going at 1 mile an hour, nudge into the back of the other train, and they'll both suddenly become destroyed, which isn't good. Now you might wonder why we should do this. I mean, why should we have these loading loops, and why should we do this, that, and the other? There's a couple of reasons. The main one really being it's a lot easier to implement another train into this. So, are there any? I'm trying to find a nearby village, which would be a good example. Oh, they're a bit oh, miles away. Ugh. Well, oh well. Let's do it from Phobby. Why not? Unless Phobby hates us now. Oh no, they love us. That's good. That's good. So here we go, Phobby. I'm just going to build myself a quick little station from Phobby. Normally as well you do all your loading loops and that business, but right for now I'm not going to do that. This is just going to be a straight kind of, here we go. So if I want a train to go from Phobby to Dad Church, It's such a weird name for a place. It's great because it means I can attach it to my loading loop. Like this. And then attach it this side as well. So if I add myself one-way signals here to encourage my train to do the right thing. Why can't you build you there? I'll remove my signal, haven't I? I build myself some one-way signals here. And a two-way one there. What should happen now? If I build a train to go from Fobby to Dadchurch, which is what I'm going to do, like this. Oh, need more money. Have I already got a loan? Oh no, it's already open. Loan. There we go. So, sorry. There we go. So now, if I say go to Fobby, and then go to Dadchurch, hopefully what should happen is our train, I'll leave him open there on the left, he'll approach, he'll stop here, and then when it's safe, he'll come round, go into the station, go around and bugger off again. You'd probably normally want to make it a little bit neater the way I've done it, because I've made him so if once he leaves, he'll have to circle around this whole system again. But it shouldn't be too bad. So let's see what happens. And notice as well, just another little quick indication from the signals. This one's red, which means the block of rail, separated by this signal, which is all of this stuff, has a train in it. So now watch this. He'll come round here. He's stopping at this red signal here, because there's a train in his block. Off he goes. Now what you should do, if it's all gone right, he'll turn left here, and then left again, into the station. There we go. And that way we're not going to have to worry too much about all this other guff that would normally kind of come with trying to connect stations. I'm just going to stop talking because I've just messed myself up. But there we go. And then he'll go around again. He's free to leave. There we go. And then he buggers off. And the other trains carry on their business. You see? Which is why we have loading loops. Because they are unbelievably helpful. I'm going to stop saying unbelievably. Because it's not really unbelievably helpful. I can believe it. And there we go. So those are what are called block signals. In the next video, I'll show you how to use entry and exit signals as well as pre-signals, which are, again, a godsend. I'll explain more about them in the next video.